Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Hope you guys are having just a fantabulous day that ends in Y. Let's see here. Just gonna keep on keeping on. So, for those of you just joining, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube and TFR and all the things because it's just been December has not been my friend. So, yeah. Anyways, so yes, we're off adventuring into the spaces between, being broadcast live, of course, on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, and on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. And if you are listening in on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And then, no matter how you are hearing, stop in one of the chat rooms to say howdy. Or you can also send me an email at wildepaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. And let's see, if you want to know more about me and what I'm doing and all that jazz, you can always check out the website. It's www.paisleywild.com. Yep. Um, let's see. If you want to just support the radio habit, I'm okay with that too. You can do the cash tag, and that's the spaces between. Let's see, the phone lines are open. That number is 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond in the UK, it is 44-203-393-2871. And then as you're doing your research and checking stuff out, you can always check out iLife.com. iLife is the official sponsor for Truth Frequency Radio. iLife combines the best non-psychoactive properties of the ayahuasca along with the high-quality CBD to help cure what ails you, support all of you. Because, yes, sometimes we just need all the support we can get, right? Yes, yes. So, but yeah, if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, please. Um, some housekeeping stuff to get out of the way. So, um, after the first of the year, which is just coming right up, I'll be changing the format just a wee bit on the YouTube show. Probably won't be live on Friday and Saturday nights like I have been. I'll be doing something a little bit different just because I want to really give my listeners and viewers the attention they deserve, and I want to use YouTube as more of a teaching platform. Also, Mini Me wants to do some stuff, and so I got to thinking maybe we'll do some cooking and learn about herbs and that kind of thing. So that's my tentative plan, that direction. We'll see how it goes. Um, yeah, just have to wait and see how that goes. So Friday and Saturday nights, I will still be live on Truth Frequency Radio. And actually tonight, I'm only going to do about an hour on YouTube, and then I'll do and both hours on TFR, just because I have a commitment and I need to keep it. And I am the folks at TFR have been really good to me, and I want to support them as much as I can. And honestly, the internet here in North Idaho is sometimes quite complicated, and I want to make sure that if I'm giving you guys full video and such, you're getting the best I can send you, um, which sometimes doesn't happen because I live in North Idaho and the internet here is fantabulous. We've had some crazy weather. It's like Idaho is trying to fit as many seasons into one day as possible. We've had 20-degree temperature variations in an hour. So we've had snow, we've had rain, we've had sleet, we've had hail, we've had freezing rain, we've had 40-degree temperatures. It's just insane. And so the roads are sloppy. So those of you here in North Idaho, drive careful, my friends. For those of you on the East Coast, by golly, stay safe. That storm system is a doozy. And, just thinking of everybody that's, dealing with the contrary weather that we are experiencing. And it is very contrary. And I think personally, the weather is not necessarily it's not a new phenomena. As I've mentioned in the past, I feel that the weather that we are experiencing today is something that we've experienced before. It's not like we have new weather, it's just cycles back around. And um, as a result, some of this tumultuous weather that we're experiencing today has been on our planet before. We just haven't been around for it. And so it's brand new and wild and crazy. Um, is it wild and crazy? Yeah, it is. But it's quite vexing, honestly, um, for people to just assume that, it's, I don't know, as a result of total man-made stuff, and it's not. I think we've contributed, but it's not just an us thing, unfortunately. Just all there is to it, unfortunately. Um, hey, Justin, gotta tell you, I love my system. Trying new things, and as I'm trying new things, just gotta see what's going on. There, we'll try that. So Pocatello is in southern Idaho. Um, Pocatello, Tello. There's some interesting paranormal type phenomena in the Pocatello area just because it is a wee bit rural. It's close to Fort Hall Indian Reservation. And as anybody knows, often the reservations have a lot of things going on. Um, yeah, we'll just leave it at things. A lot of the times the mystery and just looking a little closer at the map, there are some, let's see, I think there's a jade mine to the south of Pocatello and the opals to the east. Where's jade to the east too? Um, yeah, or no, Idaho Falls is where the jade is. And then Craters the Moon National Park is up in that area. And yeah, just a lot going on. Um, so, um, I don't know. It's drier, it's more desert-like than it is up here in North Idaho. We have a lot more water, um, which is why I would love to live here. Um, and a lot of people are getting the urge to relocate to Idaho in general, just because it is considered a relatively safe place, regardless of what happens. Yes, absolutely. Idaho is like the last great space to go hide out and just be you. So, anyways, yeah, first hour I'm gonna be here on YouTube. Um, in addition to TFR, and then the second hour will be TFR only, and YouTube will be off. So you guys will have to come join us on YouTube on TFR. Um, that being said, I will close out. I'll close out the first hour with the singing bowl because can't can't have a spaces without singing bowl. I mean, we just gotta, right? So, um, so yeah. Um, so what else has been going on? Let's see. Had COVID, had sinus infection, had some other stuff going on, working through my back health, which is, for those of you who are young enough that you're not dealing with a lot of health issues, by golly, take care of yourself. Because once things start breaking down, you'll notice. Trust me on this one. You don't want to go there. Um, because, yeah, it hurts after a while. A lot. Um, very cool, Marley. I'm originally from southern Idaho. It's from Kansas City, actually, but that's a different part of the state. Let's see. Maligdom. Hmm. Yes. There. there's some interesting stuff that happens down in southern Idaho. Um, and there's so let's see, the very first, or there's nuclear experimental facilities, um, and yeah, there's let's see what else. Yeah, there's a lot of paranormal stuff down in southern Idaho. I guess that's just the best way to put it. So yeah, if you're getting a lot of stuff from there, Shadow, yeah, that may be it. Um, One of the things, and I got to tell you, talk about synchronicity. I was listening to the tail end of Paranormal Portal, Brent Thomas. He was talking about how it's, J.K. Rowling's and the Potterverse seems to be, is it magic is getting stronger because people are thinking about it more, or that universe is being more, or is more in people's minds, is it's more present, or is it that it was more present and that's why people are thinking about it, which is the chicken, which is the egg, if you will. I was reading an article by John Beckett, who probably one of my favorite is bloggers, I gotta tell you. um, he wrote a blog post about magic and how it seems to be getting stronger and it's more prevalent. um, he In the article, and I'll have have the link in the show notes, and he talks about ley lines and how um, oh, early 1900s roughly is when this idea was presented or put out there that ley lines were a thing. Now, ley lines are, in theory, rivers, if you will, that run throughout the world. And um, now, I have mixed feelings on ley lines myself. I do feel that there are currents of energy that run around the world. Are they ley lines specifically, or are they just energetic lines? I don't know. I haven't studied it enough to really have a firm opinion either way. I just know, yes, there are energetic rivers or energetic currents throughout the world. And at the vortices or confluences, that's where a lot of the structures of antiquity were built, because those were places of power. Now, sometimes those where they could go and talk to their gods in the city or community, or maybe there was a well there, and so people were going to the well because they wanted to get water and they're thankful for the water, and that gave the well um, a sentience, if you will. So, which is the cart, which is the horse, right? Or chicken, egg, however you want to put it. And um, I think there's some truth to both. Yes, the rivers of energy that flow around the world, that confluence, that's where structures are built, but also because strategically, from a militaristic or defensive point of view, structures were built in ancient past. And because that was a congregation of certain energies, a confluence was created, or a node or vector, or however you want to put it, was created in that spot. And nowadays, while there's a lot more people, and so there's a lot more magical energy, or just energy in general around the world as far as spiritual energy. So I think, those confluences are still there, but they've also changed. So not only do they occur naturally in places where people congregate, but also in places where people have chosen to congregate instead of by default, like at a river, or a spring, or a lake, or whatever, where there's a good water source and good protective places to live. It's also now strategically or commercially viable to have a location there. So, like, I live in Sandpoint, Idaho, that area. Now, Sandpoint was originally a location where the tribal folks met up for different get-togethers and tradings and swaps, and it was just a communal location. Well, not only that, but there's fresh water here, there's fish, so there's a lot happening. But a lot of people gathered here to begin with. And then after the white man moved west, because of the location of the Pend Oreille River and the Clark Fork River and the lake and resources and everything, it made sense to put um, a fort here. And from there, it built up and it became this community. So it started off as a convenient gathering place, and then that energy built up here, and then now there's more stuff. So is there energy here locally? Yes, absolutely. um yes, actually there's a lot of energy here. Anybody who's sensitive to it can really feel it, especially if you also, and they're not as old as, say, the Appalachians. They're younger. um they're partly due to tectonic activity, but also there's been glacier activity. So there's a lot of transformative energy in the area. So it's kind of pooled in this spot. Um, and I don't know, it's fascinating to be here and experience it and do stuff with it. But it's also intimidating because there's a lot of energy. Holy cow. Anyways, back to, I'm digressing because I want to get some information out here before the break coming up. Anyways, excuse me. With the article by Mr. Beckett, he talks about the magical environment. He had a really interesting quote in here by Peter J. Carroll, who's a chaos magician. He says, "Magic works in practice, but not in theory." Yes, you got to practice at it and make it work, because if you try to explain the theoretics behind some of that, the magic and it just doesn't make sense. It's like, how can that happen? It's not explainable. This is why it tends to end up in the supernatural or the paranormal, because it just doesn't make sense to the average person. Anyway, so John goes on to explain the understanding, or his understanding of magic and such. And he feels that magic works through the intercession of gods and spirits, manipulation of the unseen energy, which would be like in the ley lines, and through psychological programming. I would add another one in there, and that would be the elemental energy, because I think it's more of a four-way, four-legged stool, if you will. The gods and the spirits, yes, they're out there. Yes, they manipulate energy. Yes, they work through us. Yes, they give us energy. Yes, they ask us for things. They don't ask us to worship them. They ask us to honor them. Totally different thing. The manipulation of unseen energy, that'd be like the ley line energy or the energetic rivers around the world or in space. Psychological programming, that would be more like, if you accept that something is, it's a lot easier to accept it as it really is. And does that make sense when I say it like that? No. It's like tasting chocolate. If you take a bite of chocolate with your eyes closed, regardless of the kind of chocolate, what color would you give it? Well, if your eyes are open, you look at the chocolate like, oh, well, it's brown chocolate. Or maybe it's white chocolate. Or maybe here in North Idaho, we have huckleberry chocolate, which is basically white chocolate with huckleberries in it. And it comes out purple. Well, if your eyes are closed and you take a bite of huckleberry chocolate, what color would you give it? Well, without knowing what color huckleberries are, would you really know? Same kind of thing. So it's that unseen energy. You have to, or that you don't expect, but once you educate yourself about it and you understand it more and you research it more and you study it more, then you understand that, hey, that energy is really out there, and then you're programming yourself to be more aware of it and more accepting of it. And then elemental energy, well, if you ever burnt your hand while cooking food, you know that fire is a real thing. Or here in North Idaho today, I had to go move the truck because we had the plow come, and didn't do much because, holy cow, it was sloggy as all get out. There was a snowblower, and snowblowers and sloggy wet don't really do much, unfortunately. They just don't. And so, yeah, it had to be a shovel. which is fantastic. Sloggy, soggy mess. But it was soaking wet. And yeah, I know it was wet. I can feel the water when the cold, sloppy snow lands on my head because it fell out of the tree. Yes. Or power lines down, that kind of thing. We've all seen elemental energy, whether it's fire, water, air, spirit. We've experienced spirit, and then earth. I mean, have you ever gone hiking in a muddy spot and you step in mud and you lose your shoe? Trust me, you're experiencing earth. Or go spelunking or through a cave or whatever and bang your head on the ceiling. Yep, earth has encountered you. Or if you're into rocks and crystals, by golly, you know what? You're experiencing earth. So, yeah, that all of those different types of energy are out there, and as I've talked in the past, magic is energy, energy is magic. And so when we're working with the energy of the gods and the spirits, or the that unseen energy, or the psychological conditioning that we give ourselves of recognizing energy is out there even if we can't see it, and also the elemental energy, those are the four cornerstones of magic, if you will. And those are the things that we use when we're doing spell casting, when we're doing ritual work, when we're doing energetic work, even feng shui. We've all heard of feng shui anymore. It's was kind of a new age thing, but now it's everywhere. Um, that's talking about the energies of the world around us and making sure they're channeled correctly. Have you ever walked into a crowded room and you just, on the one hand, you're like, woohoo, I'm here, stand out. I'm fine with being stood out and just everybody look at me and you're like, woohoo, it's great and you're having a good time? Or do you walk into that same room and you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go stand in the corner because y'all are just, there's something wrong. Well, same kind of thing. You can feel that energy. So whether it's a natural, they've learned how to recognize the signs. So they've taught themselves. Sometimes they wear different clothing, sometimes they wear different equipment to make sure they can recognize that energy. But yeah, it's there. And as Brent was alluding to, is it that we're seeing more energy in the world today because we're looking for it? Or is it because there's just more? I think personally is both. Um, Both, 100% both, because that energy is building and is getting greater and is becoming more prevalent, but also because it's becoming more prevalent, it's easier to see and it's easier to recognize. So, um, whether it's the things that are going bump in the night or the things you're researching and learning about, or the magic of incense or a candle or singing bowl, whatever it is, I think that is out there and we need to recognize it more and continue to build on it more. Um, because, yeah, it's there. We might as well use it, right? We just need to remember to respect that energy. So, on that note, it is bottom of the hour and we're going to go to break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between witches and magic and pagans and Wicca and all of that stuff, because there are some differences. Be right back, guys. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. I hope you guys are having just a fantastic day that ends in Y. Hey, Nightshade, how's it going? A lot of people have been busy. I gotta tell you, fourth quarter 2021 has been quite the adventure between illness and life and stuff. Stuff is a good word, right? It's just been kind of I don't know. I'm ready for 2021 to be done, um, and move on to 2022. Um, I'm hoping that the 20s, the aught 20s, if you will, get a little closer to the roaring 20s, and less whatever we've been experiencing the last year or two. Yeah, it's not as much fun. So Yule is on the 25th, Lewis. No, excuse me, on the 21st. Yule is the 21st. It's winter solstice, first day of winter, first day of summer, that kind of thing. Well, first day of winter is Yule, and then Christmas is on the 25th. So the 2 days are not exactly the same. They often get celebrated together just because it's hard to reconcile the two different parts for families sometimes, just because families are complicated. That's just all there is to it. Um, so let's see. Just before the break, I was talking about magic and how it seems to become a lot more prevalent. Because honestly, I think whether it's the time of the old gods is coming again, which could be. I suppose that's one way to look at it. Um, or well, okay, time out. I feel that time is cyclical. Okay, if those of you who watch the Wheel of Time series on Amazon Prime, um, by golly, I love that book series. Uh, Robert Jordan's fantastic, and I think whatever research he was doing to lead up to that particular book series, when he talks about time being a wheel, I think is very, very accurate, because it does. The time keeps spinning like a wheel, goes around and around. And so what has been in the past is going to come again. It's again cyclical. So the time of the old gods, the time of the stronger currents of magic, that kind of thing, um, it's just becoming stronger. Period. Um, and it's a combination of both. We're more aware of it, and also it just is. It is more prevalent, and because it's more prevalent, we're seeing it more. Because we're seeing it more, we're thinking of it more. Because we're thinking of it more, there it is more. So yes, all the above. Um, period. Now, that being said, the energy that we work with when we're doing magic, rituals, um, ceremonies, that kind of thing, um, that is energy. As we practice our paganism, if you will, which is more the religion side of following in the old gods. I don't It's not really religion because it's honoring. We're honoring the old gods. We're honoring our ancestors. We're honoring our spirit guides. We're honoring the elements. We're honoring the world around us. But because it is um it is more of a, how do I want to put it? Because it is honoring and not religion, I don't want to call it religion, but paganism is the belief system, if you will, of honoring the old gods rather than the Abrahamic faiths like Judaism, Christianity, Islam, etc. And honestly, pagan is an old word that basically means you old hick, you don't believe in the real stuff that we do in the city. Go back to the country, you country bumpkin. Um, Now, is that how we're using the word today? No. But I guess we're just trying to take ownership of the word pagan and paganism and owning it and trying to bring a 21st century meaning to it, which basically means we believe things other than the Abrahamic faiths, which is still true, but we're not old hicks. If anything, we're the visionaries now. Um, as a result, there's a lot of assumption that those who are pagan all practice magic. And that's not a true study. Says it's more of a lifestyle than a religion. Yes, 100% more of a lifestyle. Yes. Um, so since it is more of a lifestyle than a religion, you know, we're not all practicing magic. So if you walk down the street and you bump into a bunch of people wearing different jewelry, maybe they're representing Thor and Odin and Wicca and Freya and Bast and Osiris and Zeus and etc. All all these different deities. Now, are they all going to be practicing magic? No, they're not, because it is a chosen lifestyle to honor that path. Instead of Christianity or a different Abrahamic tradition, they're honoring those people. Now, do they do the occasional ritual? Well, yeah, absolutely. Just like the Christians, for instance, will often pray before a meal or a daily devotion at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, either one. Often pagans will do the same thing. That doesn't mean they're all practicing magic. It'd be like saying that all Christians are pastors and preachers. They're not. Um, they're just Christians. Well, pagans are the same way. We're just pagans. Often it's the priests and the priestesses that are actually participating in the rituals and their ceremonies and doing the magic work, if you will. Now, for the solo practitioners, it's a little differently because solo practitioners are the ones that are doing everything, if you will. If you will, they're wearing all the hats. That is one disadvantage that we have as pagans compared to a lot of the Abrahamic traditions is that often we are solo practitioners. That's we are it. Instead of being able to go to a church or a group and say, hey, here I am and I believe similar things to you and I just want the fellowship. Unfortunately, pagans don't really get that as much. So, that being said, not all pagans practice magic. So, not all pagans are witches. Generally speaking, a witch, I suppose, would be the less formalized label of a magic worker or someone who is practicing magic. Um, just like Wicca is more of a religion and lifestyle, it is separate from pagan. It's a little bit different belief set. It is something that you have to be initiated into specifically, just like druidic paths generally have a specific initiation rite, and it's a specific path. And if you're going to follow that path, you really do need to talk to the hierarchy or the clergy, if you will, to make sure you're initiated correctly and you're following that structure. A lot of pagans just kind of free flow and we're doing our own thing, and that's okay. It's just we're doing our own thing. Um, yeah, nothing wrong with that. So yes, not all Wiccans are witches. Again, sometimes it's more of a lifestyle choice or a belief set than it is intentionally practicing magic. Not all pagans are witches. Same thing. Not all witches are pagans. Not all witches are Wiccans. There are atheist witches out there. I personally have a hard time wrapping my head around that one, but it's a thing. That's all. It's not my thing. It is a thing. Does it work for them? Yes. Do I need to understand it to accept it? No. There's a lot of things in the world that I don't really understand, but I accept them because why would I not? Accept it at face value until I learn more. And then sometimes I might go, what are you talking about? So, yeah, it varies a little bit. Um, But yeah, it's remember when you're talking to someone who is not of an Abrahamic faith, don't just assume they're going to be a witch. Just like, hey, how long have you been a pagan? It's kind of a nosy question. It's like saying, hey, how long have you been wearing a size 12? Is that shirt, pants, shoes? What is it? Um, it it is a nosy question. It's kind of like asking someone, so are you up to date on all your vaccines? It's kind of a personal question. Gotta, you know, not every group is going to be receptive of those particular questions. So keep that in mind as you move through the world and you're learning about stuff and you're researching things that you are not inadvertently or accidentally stepping on someone's toes because you're trying to put a label on something that doesn't necessarily need. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm closing out some tabs here. Oh, um, so just real quick, Yule is coming up. It's on the 21st. Um, you know, I personally have a Yule log. It was kind of fun put together this year with Mini Me, and we got a couple candles, and the pictures are on Facebook. If you follow me on Facebook, you should see it there. Um, what can you do? Well, as you're counting through December and trying to figure out what you're going to do with 2022, you light some candles. Get some really good smelling ones. They don't have to be smell less. They could be awesome smelling. Because you know what? Candlelight is awesome. I love candles. This is a battery operated one that I got from a friend of mine. Love you, Julia. Um, I have cats that like to sit on candles, so I love these. I also have regular candles everywhere um, because I like the smell of them. And just be by candlelight. Or I may be making a cup of coffee over candlelight. I hope not, because that would be sad. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of different things. Music, you could use holiday music. Actually, a lot of the older Christmas carols have some very pagan themes to them. They really do. Um, you just got to listen to the words a little bit. Now, some of the contemporary music, yes, there's some contemporary Yule music. Um, maybe you want to try some medieval Gregorian chants, or maybe something more just instrumental. But find something that helps you get into the mood and helps you, especially with your meditation and such. Um, One of the things I've done to really help myself with this particular season and in general, I have started limiting my social media. I tend to go in fits and bursts and starts, a little bit here, a little bit there. Sometimes it seems like, wow, you've been on Facebook all day. No, it just looks like it. But I've noticed that there's a lot of social media out there that does lead me to my highest good. Um, and I think we need to be aware of that. A lot of the things that we see online and on our phones and such, um, yeah, it's not very positive. It's not very happy. It's not very good for us. And so try to limit that. Reflecting that which you see on TV or in social, try finding something a little bit more happy. I know it's good to know what's going on in the world, going on in the news, but at the same time, don't wallow in it. I try to read the headlines first thing in the morning, at lunchtime, and then just before bed. Spend maybe half hour total, sometimes 45 minutes for the whole day. I tend to really focus more on blog posts that are going to feed the highest me, meaning like John Beckett. I read a lot of his articles because you know what? Those are really good. There's a lot of very inspirational authors out there that you can find online, books you can read. Fill your brain with stuff that serves your highest good, your highest you. Um, so one that I schedule, a thing here that I do often and schedule it really truly is check on my friends and family. I mean, how often do you call your friends and say, hey, how you doing? Especially um, this COVID environment that we've been dealing with for the last couple of years. Um, yeah, I've got a couple friends that I check on a couple times a week. Some that I check on once a month. It varies. Family, reach out to my family on a pretty regular basis. My dad just had a health scare, so I try to talk to him about once a week. Um, just because at some point I will want to call him and he won't be there because he will have passed from this world to the next. And I don't want to miss that. So, yeah, sometimes it may feel like we're too busy or they're too busy to check up on them. Shoot a quick text. Hey, was thinking of you. I hope you're having a good day. And just leave it at that. You don't have to be intrusive. You don't have to get in their face. Just, what is it that helps you? Um, this dried. I've got some necklaces I've made. I've got a whole bunch of creative type stuff around me. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. I mean, you could do cranberry garlands. You could do uh, peanut butter and birdseed pine cones. Just things that you want to do to create. Um, Maybe baking. Try a new dish. Cook. Do something fun. Um, Yeah, Justin said that he had to check on his mom last night because she lives in Arkansas, Arkansas, and dealing with some nasty storms. Yeah, I've got family in North Carolina. A little worried about them, but they're resourceful types. So yeah, just yes. Um, those things you're making. Maybe it's a new recipe, a batch of cookies. I don't know about y'all, but if I make a batch of cookies, I try to give some away because I personally do not need closet. You're like, man, I haven't worn this stuff for 2 years because we've been in lockdown and I work from home now. I don't have to go to the office. What can you do with those clothes? Well, you can give them to a local charity. You can give them to like your animal shelters that have thrift stores, that kind of thing. Give them to your care facilities, your nursing homes, because a lot of those folks they don't get visited, and so they don't have family to help them, and so suddenly they don't have any new clothes other than what their little stipend might pay for. So yeah, donate clothes. On that note, how about give them? Imagine how they'd feel if they all received a card for Christmas. Wouldn't that just feel good? Little things like that. When we give things or give of ourselves, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be something small. Um, Pay it forward at the coffee shop or the grocery line or the fast food joint or whatever. Or if you see a group of people, they're out to eat, maybe their kids are well behaved, maybe they're first responders, maybe they're military, you can tell by their bearing, or any of those, or maybe they're just a random couple, like a first date kind of random couple, or maybe it's an elderly couple just holding hands at the table. Whatever inspires you, buy their dinner. And that like this buzz of energy because it feels so good to just do a thing. Maybe it's a goal for the coming year. What are you going to do? To spread love in our world or joy in our world rather than a lot of that hate and anger that we see on the news all the time. Another thing that can help us feel good this time of year, movement. And that means just getting up and moving. Um, Here in North Idaho, it's soggy, it's snowy, it's cold, it's bizarre weather. Just saying. Um, so it's not very much fun to go for a walk because you end up with wet feet and wet head and just not feeling very good. And so going for a walk outside is just not very fun. So what do you do instead? Maybe yoga, learn Tai Chi, go to the gym. Find something that is going to help you get out and be more active. Not necessarily, be overly socialized or stepping outside of your comfort zone, but, more what is it you want to do? Have a dance party at your house. Instead of game night, have a dance party. Invite, half a dozen couples that are, your close friends come over and everybody has, fondue and spritzers and have a dance party. Just have something fun. Just something fun. And then yeah, engage your senses. In other words, find something that challenges you to smell or experience new smells or new sounds or new things. Maybe buy a candle you don't normally buy or an incense you don't normally buy. Go to a museum or something that you can just engage yourself. And in doing that, that puts you, or it forces you to put yourself first, because we often don't do that. We're not taught in our society today to put ourselves first. We're always told, oh, you got to put everybody else first. You got to take care of the kids, take care of the significant other, you got to take care of your employer, you got to take care of the world around us first. Well, that's all well and good, but you can't pour from an empty cup, kids. So you got to do something else. You just do. And it's hard, and I know it's hard. So, on that note, it is top of the hour. We're about to go to break on TFR. When we come back from TFR, I'm only going to be on TFR. I'm not going to be on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up, the like, the subscribe, that kind of thing. And I'll be adding more content as time goes by. And if you do have any show ideas or questions, by all means, shoot me an email at wildepaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. Ali, I am not a magician, I am a witch, and I'm happy to be one. So, yeah, that's all there is to it. Yeah, show notes will have copies of the articles or links to the articles in both YouTube and in TFR. So, yeah, where am I at? There I am. I'm not using a double monitor today. I'm using a single as such. I am kind of feeling like I'm not functioning quite right. So, all right. So, Singing Bowl, I will be back on Friday. I'll at least catch an hour. We'll see what happens. So, thanks for joining on YouTube, you guys. And here's some Singing Bowl to close out the hour.